Hello, buongiorno a tutti, and welcome to this new adventure that we're taking together.
What is it about?
That's very easy to explain. Let's say that you're a piano student or you're already an excellent pianist. You can play classical music or even some popular songs, but you feel like you're not satisfied with it. Maybe you would like to expand your musical knowledge to a wider variety of genres, improvise, accompany other musicians, singers, or simply have fun. Through this course, I am going to guide you to lead you from classical piano training to pop, freedom, fun. Are you ready? Let's get into it! Before starting, let me invite you to participate. Ask questions, give me your opinions, share your own experiences here in the comments. It's really important, and I promise that I'll get back to you. Of course, you are welcome to subscribe to my channel and visit my website. We often concern about playing the right notes, reading sheet music, practicing a lot. Our teachers can be very strict when we press the wrong key. Well, in my class, I want you to sit down for a moment, take a deep breath, and think. Just think. Pop music is not mainly a matter of practicing. The essential point is to understand how things work instead of just playing your instrument. Everything you already know is helpful. If you can read music, if you can play scales, whatever you learned as well as the skills that you have in this precise moment will surely be useful. But let me point out a very important matter first. The senses.
What are you talking about? Give me an example, please.
Sure, let's meditate together on the following question. Why most guitar players can play pop music, sing to it, have fun with friends, while piano players need more experience or a sheet music to do so? Guitar players. Well, most times, not always, but usually, they start by learning some positions here, which are the different chords, and the other hand strums, so that they give rhythm with one hand and harmony with the other hand. Maybe they even sing to it, adding a melody. Then, of course, if they want to become good guitarists, they will have to practice scales, arpeggios, technique, and everything else. That's the same old story with every single instrument. But we can say for sure that at the very beginning, guitar students can already have some fun. Now, piano players. Very often, at their first approach to their instrument, they start by watching the keyboard, trying to identify the keys, looking for middle C, F, and so on. Let's say they watch. Then, after a very short time, they are reading some notes on their first piano book. They try to recognize the notes. In a few words, they watch a sheet music and they watch the keys. This means that in first place, they use the sight. I was talking about guitarists before. Do you think they use the sight so much? Maybe at the beginning, just to figure out what strings to press down. But after that, it's mainly a matter of touch and hearing. To summarize this concept, I'm sure that when we start to play an instrument, we give the priority to different senses. Piano, the sight; guitar, the touch, and the hearing.
What is that for?
Here I go. To be able to play pop music or jazz or whatever is not classical, we will need to reorder these senses and put the hearing and the touch in first place.
Why is the touch so important?
Because if I use the sense of the touch, I won't depend on the sense of the sight. Of course, when we play big jumps, it's better to take a quick look at the keyboard, but there are many other situations in which the sight does not matter, and so we can focus on our hearing. Our ears will tell us if what we play is right or wrong, nice or bad, and not our eyes and neither our teacher. Think about how many musicians, artists of our modern music history, like Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Jose Feliciano, para los amigos, can play wonderfully and they cannot see, right? So, is the sight important for music? It is to read a piece and learn it, but for all the rest, in my personal opinion, the hearing and the touch are actually indispensable. According to my experience, I also would like to mention that most pianists are afraid to make mistakes, to play the wrong keys, because their teachers have been very strict about this. On the other hand, guitarists love to experiment, and plus, if they started to practice by themselves, nobody has ever scolded them. Exercise 1. To find out what I have just said, I suggest you to do this. Watch a movie in your native language using the closed captions, subtitles, and then feel free to tell me your impressions right here in the comments. Exercise 2. When you play, whatever you play, try not to stare at the keyboard. Try to play watching the ceiling, doesn't matter if you make any mistakes. I just want you to get used to it and listen to the sound that comes out of your instrument. To do so, make sure your fingering is comfortable and then share your experience. It's not my intention to revolutionize the conventional piano teaching pedagogy. I do still believe that when we talk about piano, classical education is the only one that makes you achieve the best sound of your instrument. The only thing I am saying is that when it comes to pop music, we should see things under another point of view.
I don't get it. Please explain that.
Right. That's why in this course, I'm gonna take ideas from classical music and bring them into pop. Let's think about when we play Beethoven. What do we do? Well, we play the notes that are on a sheet music. We play exactly the same notes that are there. We follow its indications like dynamics, forte, piano, and also legato, staccato, crescendo, diminuendo, ritardando, accelerando. In a few words, what we play is what we read. We listen carefully to our teacher's suggestions, plus nowadays we can easily listen to other pianists playing the same piece to feed our inspiration. You see, most of what we are playing is because somebody else already did that. All the notes are already there and you must play them perfectly right or you will feel frustrated. Why do I have to play this part forte? Because that's the right dynamic. Because your teacher told you to do so. Now, when we play jazz, rock, pop, we are free. No chains. If we want to read a sheet music, we can do it. And if we don't feel like to, we don't. Or we can even modify what we are reading. I would say that this is the main difference between classical and pop piano.
Example.
Let's start by separating the composition from the arrangement. Split that. Composition, arrangement. To give you an idea, I will use Furelise by Beethoven, since it's a very famous and pretty easy masterpiece that everybody knows. Let's quickly remind it together. What I have just played is a reduced part of the original version, where the composition and the arrangement coincide since Beethoven composed this piece for this instrument. Now, let's listen to the pure composition under a pop pianist perspective. What I've just did is to strip the piece to identify its essential elements more easily. Now, with due respect, I'll change the arrangement. Beethoven, please forgive me. Let's see what it would sound like if it were composed in the 70s. Yo, how'd you do that? That's exactly what we're going to discover together. Exercise 1. Pick a fragment of a song or classical piece or even one of my sheet music and try to figure out its harmony and learn it by heart. Exercise 2. Keep the essential parts of the piece you chose and change the rest. You can try different rhythms, change some chords, or enrich its melody, but the song has to be always recognizable. Of course, play it without reading. We need to train the hearing and the touch. Remember? Thank you for your kind attention. See you next time. Hello, buongiorno a tutti. I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel and remember that you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, or the music platform you prefer. Plus, I strongly suggest you to take a look at Piano Stream, which is the perfect app for your player piano or digital piano. Thank you. Bye-bye.